Well, it's back home this week for the John Tyler Lions, the first time in almost a month since the Lions have played a game at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. They are 2-0 in district play, coming off a 35-0 win over the Lindale Eagles. Hi again, everybody, as we continue with Coach's Corner. I'm Bill Coates, and Ricklan Holmes, the John Tyler head football coach, is with us. First of all, it will be good. You think you can still find your way out to the stadium? You know where it is, right?
Oh, yeah. It's not a hard way to get there, especially coming from our campus. All you do is go down the loop, make a quick left, and run
You're
right
there.
into it.
But
so.
you are you've been road warriors lately, haven't
Yes,
you?
we have. We had 6 out of the 10 games away, which include the league game where we were the away team. So you really got 5 that was on the road, which is more than half of your season that you're spending on the highway. So it's been a good experience for our kids, and it's been a good experience for our fans.
Kudos to the JT fans. I did the Corsicana game on the radio. There was a big crowd there that night. And we did, as a station, the Lindale game, and the place was packed. So JT fans are traveling right now, aren't they?
Oh, yes, sir. Our fans love getting on the road, like I said, putting their flags on their cars and making their way to the stadium that we're playing at. So.
All right, so this week, or this past week, and we'll get to the game this week because JT is back home against Jacksonville this coming Friday night at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. But Lindale, you knew what you were going up against in terms of a crowd that would be fired up, but you took care of business.
Yes, we had to go out there. We had to play our John Tyler football brand, and we just had to make sure that we done the things that we needed to do to take care of that game and to put it out of hand early and make it a good win for us on the road.
Now, we'll see some highlights here in just a bit, but let's talk about what you did, first of all, offensively, what you liked about that game.
Offensively, just sustaining drives, making sure that we was able to control the clock, which that's something that we've been working on all year long, and being able to score when we need to score, not when, we have to score, but when we want to go score. And that comes a great attest to what Coach Bush been doing to offense, Greg being able to handle the ball, that he's able to handle it, and the running back play out of DeQuante Woods has been outstanding. So
I think Greg was like 22 out of 24 maybe in that game or something like that.
Yes, sir.
That's about as, maybe 100%, but pretty darn close.
That's about as good as you're going to get, especially going against the caliber teams that we're going against. Right. When you're able to complete that many balls, to throw it that many times and be able to have the success that we're having, that's a good deal.
Now, your offensive line, I know you were particularly proud of the job they did against Corsicana, maybe their best game. How about this past week?
Lindale, they once again, they didn't step backwards. They stayed that same course. Protection, pass protection is still outstanding. Run blocking is getting better, especially, like I said, with the night that DeQuante had carrying the ball. That comes from a good offensive line play. And Coach Will Smith, he's doing a great job getting those guys ready and continue to move them in the direction that they need to be moving in to be the offensive line that we need.
Yeah, in the last 2 weeks, he had over 200 against Corsicana. I think he had 160 and change against Lindale. So that's pretty solid. That's an average of about 200 yards a game. You supplement that to that passing game, and you can win like that.
Most definitely. You're talking about a running game of almost 200, a passing game of a little bit over 3.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a good offensive game, about 500 yards a game, which is very, very good and competitive, and it puts you in deals to win the game, because you're able to run the ball, you're able to pass the ball. With the running of the ball, it eats up a lot of the clock. It keeps their offense off the field, and then with the passing attack that we have, is bar none probably one of the best in the state of Texas right now.
Rick, I know coaches put up these posters or these billboards in your locker room goals each week offensively. Are you meeting those goals? What are those? I'm just curious if you don't mind sharing that. What do you put up for goals each week?
It goes off of yardage, it goes off of completion, it goes off of pass protection, it goes off of run blocking. That's for the offensive line. Then wide receivers, yards after the catch, the yardage that they compile, the drop balls. We don't want to have any drop balls. Completion percentage by Greg, no fumbles. Those type of deals are on our goal board, and pretty much we're accomplishing almost all those goals week in and week out.
Now you've had 2 shutouts. Let's turn to switch sides. You shut out Lee, and you shut out Lindale. So that's 2 zeros that your defense has put up on the board this year, and that one was a very impressive game against Lindale.
Oh yes, most definitely. And then you talk about our first game where we didn't give up that many points, and then you talk about the second game, which was against Mesquite Horn, where we gave up 30 points. It was actually late in the ball game. Come back against Lee, you go 0. Then you play the Tigers team. You give up 10.
In the rain, yeah.
Okay. Then you go into district play. We give up 14. All right. Then you come back this game. Now you give up 0. Like I said, this defense, which was averaging giving up about 27, 28 points a game last year, we're well up under 21 points a game right now. And that's pretty good for what we want to do with this defense.
I had a chance Monday night to, after your practice, talk to Cavante Jefferson, who plays the other end.
Yes.
And he and I were laughing about Tyus Bowser gets a whole lot of attention because of what he does. But Cavante quietly has had a very, very good year for you, hasn't he?
And Cavante gets most of the action. Tyus gets most of the talking about, but Cavante is getting most of the action because people they're trying to get away. They're trying to go away from Tyus. And he's doing an outstanding job on the other side of that ball. He has a motor that's nonstop. And he's more physical in play than he is in appearance. He's a tall, slender guy, but he's violent with his hands. He has great speed, and he understands the concept of the defense.
When he goes off to college, and I think somebody will give that young man an opportunity to play. First of all, he's a senior, so he's got he's a big range of kids, so he's got room to grow.
He does. He does.
And he, 2 or 3 years down the road, get into a college weight room, and he's liable to. Don't forget that name.
Yeah,
in other words,
most
right?
definitely. It is more about the way that they eat at the next level.
Yeah.
These kids, they have a tendency of not controlling the way that they eat. The way that our weight program is right now. That's why we are steady gaining weight as the season goes on, because we progressively lift weights all week. Basically, that's what we do. And that's not just to maintain strength, but to gain strength, and also to make sure we keep our body together, because like I said, 16 games is a lot of games.
That is a lot of games. All right, 16 means that you're playing in December, playing for state championship, and we're not that far away from the playoffs. You think the guys are starting to kind of
got 3 weeks left,
kind of smell the end of the regular season now?
Most definitely. It goes back to taking each week one game at a time. This is our 8th week going into it, and 7th week. Is it 7th week?
No, this will be the 8th.
It's 8th week going into it. And, just knowing that, you got this game. You can't worry about the next game. Yeah, everybody wants to talk about it. Yeah, we even talk about it. But at the same point, you got to make sure you keep your focus and attention on 1 week at a time.
And just for the record, a win this week against Jacksonville would clinch a playoff spot.
It would clinch a playoff spot, but it's not the playoff spot that we want to clinch.
Right,
We want to clinch the top playoff spot so we can play the number 2 coming out of the next district. So that's what we're working for.
All right, and special teams. Before we go to the video, special teams.
Once again, it's another good week of special teams. I think we only had to punt maybe once or twice this week, which Noah got a little exercise this week, unlike last week.
Didn't punt against Corsicana.
He didn't get the punt against Corsicana. Kickoff team is doing another outstanding job.
Good.
Going down the field, another great kicks by him. And then the field goal and the PATs are outstanding right now to Benitez.
All right, so all good areas you need to work on that you're still concerned about that need to get better.
Still working on offense, still working on defense, still working on special teams. Everything has to continue to stay tight. You can't loosen up. You can't take a day off. And that comes with hard work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I watch these college games, as I know you do some, and you don't have a lot of time, but I'm watching some of these college games, and it looks like in the Big 12, that nobody plays any defense anymore. Does that frustrate you at all?
It does. By me being a defensive coach and understanding, the way the games go, yeah, you can score a lot of points, but when you're giving up a lot of points, that's a lot of pressure, not just on your offense, but that's pressure on your team. And it goes back to that old saying, offense win games, but defense win championships. Because if you can't stop nobody, you're not going to win a lot of games.
Oh, so talk about what you guys like for tackling. I see some of these college teams, and they just don't tackle very well. Talk about what you guys do each week to teach your kids how to hit, wrap up, put the guy on the ground, which is, after all, the object of the game.
Well, it goes back to the fundamentals, and tackling is almost a lost art right now. Because not only at the college level, but if you look at the pros, guys just don't wrap up like they used to. We have
Why?
it's more of the excitement of the blow than it is the accomplishment of making the tackle.
Okay,
is
all
what
right.
it is.
There you go.
And it excites the fans. It excites some of the players. But at the end of the game, at the end of the day, it doesn't win games, because when you go against good backs that know how to withstand blows that you send that way, and you don't wrap up and they bounce off and they go for another 20 yards, now you became the highlight instead of them. And what we do in practice is we focus on the fundamentals. We have a tackling dummy that all phases of our defense go through. Defensive line, the linebackers, the secondary, they go against that every day. And it's just making sure that you're connecting, you're wrapping up, you're delivering the blow, but the end result is to get a full contact, wrap your arms around that person, and bring them to the ground.
Put them on the ground. That's when the whistle blows.
That's what it's about.
The big hit doesn't mean the whistle blows.
Big hit doesn't mean anything unless you're playing a little PlayStation or something. So.
All right. So so sometimes I think that video games and 7-on-7 football have totally changed the way the game is played. You ever feel that way?
It has, because now you get to that touchy-feely deal where, it's not about contact, it's more about, being in the right place at the right time. And that's what it's about. And when you put those two together with the physical play, the fundamentals, the being in the right place at the right time, now you have a total defense. You have that complete defense that you need to have to be successful. And that's what we're doing right now. That's what we're doing.
Let's roll tape. And again, JT over Lindale, in front of a packed stadium Friday night at Eagle Stadium in Lindale, 35-0. Here are some highlights. Here you are on offense.
Yeah, DeQuante just, hitting the hole like he's supposed to, making things happen after the point of attack, and making some people miss. Finding his way to the end zone.
DeQuante didn't have 100, but he got pretty close.
Yeah, he got close. He got very close to having 100 yards, and that's what you want to have. Everybody wants a 100-yard back, because it complements the offense, that's passing the ball 300 yards a game, and you want to average anywhere between 350 and 400 yards a game.
All right, back on defense now.
Interception by Trey Johnson. Wasn't quite sure where that quarterback was throwing the ball to. I think it was a misread by him and the wide receiver, because the wide receiver completely stopped and ran a curl. And he threw the ball long like he was supposed to be running a fade, as you'll see right here on the wide copy.
Trey kind of had it like being a center fielder there, right?
Like a baseball player. Trey kept running, the receiver stopped. So it was almost like he was throwing a pass to Trey.
And we've said this several times. He's had a very nice season for you.
Yeah, he's played some solid defense, and he's getting better and better each week.
Now here's the end zone look at that. So this one might not have been completely on the quarterback then, right?
No, I think it was more of a misread on the route and what he was supposed to be running by the wide receiver.
And Trey gives you great field position.
Yes, he does. Good starting point for the offense.
And so you're driving, here you are, in close.
Nice little handoff right here to Fred. He gets us down to the 1-yard line. We're almost back to the old days where we had 100 different running backs to hand the ball off to.
Yeah, Alan Wilson. And you actually do hand the ball off. One thing you rarely see anymore is the old toss sweep, which John Tyler in your day, you probably got a few of those, didn't you?
I'll tell you what, y'all just keep watching John Tyler football.
Okay.
Just keep watching.
Okay, all right. See, you'd make, and there's the touchdown, you'd make Alan awfully happy if you just kind of pitch it out occasionally.
Well, he's going to smile. He's going to smile.
All right, okay. The bubble screen has replaced the old toss sweep.
Yeah, that's what it has done.
Basically, right?
Just getting it out there quick to the sideline and using your speed to
But that's called a pass play and not a running play.
Yes,
so
right.
That's one of the big differences now. All right, here you are further upfield. And we said this earlier, Greg was almost perfect with his pass completions.
Yes, he was. And this just shows his athletic ability, putting his hand on the ground, keeping the ball alive, and getting it to Jeremy Wilson downfield.
Spreading the love around. Jeremy Wilson, one of your running backs.
One of our sophomores that's been getting a lot of action this year. just getting his shoulders around, setting up the throw, making a good completion.
Yep.
That shows you why, you know, there's no doubt in my mind that he can play quarterback at the next level.
Does he want to play quarterback at that level?
And he does want to play it.
Okay. I mean, he can play another position.
He can play another
He's
position.
really good, but
to me, in my eyes, he's a Division I quarterback that needs to be playing at a Division I college football team at quarterback.
And here's the touchdown play, I think.
Yes.
How tall is Greg? 6 feet? About 6'1"?
He's about 5'11", 6 foot.
Is he tall enough? That's the one question I guess they're asking you, right?
Well, if you look at him and you look at Geno Smith, you know,
Yeah.
Geno's not very tall.
Okay, all right.
You know,
I mean, I'm sold, but I just, you know, I wonder, I'm playing devil's advocate like a coach would.
Yeah.
As you see Greg here from the end zone score this touchdown, what a college coach. I'm sure they ask you that question,
they
right?
ask it all the time. But then when they turn on film, some of them questions don't become questions
Right, yeah,
anymore.
absolutely. No, I mean, he's just, Greg is so smooth and so athletic and sees the field so well that, I mean, that's stuff that you really can't teach, and here's a screen pass.
Yeah, to the Quante coming out the backfield and just him showing his speed, getting upfield quick, and making a lot of yards.
By the way, DeQuante is now playing running back, and Reggie Gibson's in the slot.
He's in the slot now.
But sometimes they switch back and forth, right?
They do.
Okay.
Reggie still get lines up in the backfield every once in a while, along with everybody else. We got a lot of guys that line up in the backfield now.
There you go. Screen pass looks easy to run. It's really not all that easy.
It's really not that easy.
Yeah.
It's really not
but
that
you look
easy.
at it and you say, oh, that'd be easy, you know, but it's not.
Yeah,
A lot of timing.
All thing you see is linemen run down the field.
Yeah.
You don't see what they do before they run down the field. So.
Touchdown. Wide angle view of that.
Just another pitch and catch for him.
Is that Ross with a touchdown catch here?
It's either Ross or Flowers. Oh, is it Flowers?
I'm lost here.
You're going to see it on the
Yeah,
tight
that's
view.
Darian Flowers. I'm sorry. Darian Flowers. Okay.
Making people miss. Good stiff for him right there. Just working his way upfield. He know how to go north and south. He don't go east and west very often. That's what you want your running back to do. You want them to get up there and stretch the field and get that tough yardage every once in a while. Because all plays ain't going to go perfect.
No. No, their guys are pretty good too at times. Yep. So now you're at the 6-yard line.
Another handoff play here to Fred and finds his way to the end zone again.
Now Fred's definitely a receiver at Oklahoma State, isn't he?
Most definitely. Most definitely. He's a big time receiver, but he can line up elsewhere on the field.
I think Fred can play immediately at the college level. Now,
I do too. You know, as long as he gets up there and he continue to do the things he's been doing here to keep his body healthy and prepared, I believe he can go in there. He probably contribute early.
big hit delivered there.
Richard Gibson, he's been having an outstanding season. You know, his 22 tackles last week was mind-blowing to a lot of colleges. So he's on that watch list of a lot of schools right now.
Now there's a guy that knows how to tackle too, right?
Yeah. He's a real Mike backer. He's that Ray Lewis type of kid where you want that gritty toughness, but you want somebody who's also smart and able to line up everybody
Right.
else.
And the nose tackle Miller had a big night for you too, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he had 10 tackles against Lindale.
Now, he's the kid lined up over the football here.
Yes.
He wears a number in the 20s, I believe, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he wears 28 and the other one wears 29.
Okay.
That's what we call him in practice, 28 and 29.
So they're trying to go deep here, and another pick.
Picked off by Terry Osborne, a guy that played early as a sophomore last year and started all year long, and he's coming into his junior season, and he's having the type of season that he needs to have to, put himself in a position to help us win a lot of games and also catch the eyes of a lot of colleges.
Absolutely. It's amazing the run of defensive backs that JT has had over the years. You played back there.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And that just comes with speed and toughness. You know, a lot of people think you got to be extra smart to be back there. It's more just common sense than anything. You just got to make sure that you know what you were supposed to do versus everybody else.
Right. Plus a short memory, because occasionally you're going to get beat.
You're going to get beat every once in a while. You're not going to win all the battles, but you better make sure you win the war.
The same play from the end zone. It's going to result in an interception. So that's your second pick of the night. I believe that's they threw 3 on the night, right?
Yeah, they did. I like the way he high-pointed the ball. He got in front of the receiver. Get that one.
And blocking down front. He had couple of his guys helping him out. Now you're back on the no, you're on defense. Again. Bang.
That's Cavante back there.
What you really like about that, there are 3 white shirts on the ball too, right?
Most definitely.
3 made the tackle, 4 in the backfield. Were you blitzing on this play?
No, that's just our 4-man front.
Just all 4 of them getting back there to
just
the
4-man pressure.
Yeah.
No backers coming. That's what you want to have. If you can have a good pressure by your front 4 without bringing your backers, that's able to help out in zone coverage and be able to make plays in the back end versus the front end without using the middle guy. So
he's going to get the ball off, but here's the 3rd pick.
And this is by another sophomore that's getting a lot of action this year, Isaac Warren.
Let's look at it again from a wider angle.
Another one of those big defensive backs that, you know, everybody want to have. Everybody want to have a defensive back that's 6 foot plus.
Yeah. Now Osborne's a junior, right?
He's a junior. Elliott's a senior. Trey's a senior. Flower, he plays the other corner. He's a senior. Then we have Isaac Warren that comes in. He's a sophomore. We have 2 other juniors that come in and play, Robbie Washington and Greg Johnson.
Okay.
They come in, they play.
So all those kids, there'll be plenty of experience back there next year.
Definitely. Matter of fact, you got Greg Johnson and Robbie Washington out here now. That's number 19, Washington.
Here's the end zone angle of that same play.
Good high point, once again. Just goes back to the drills and the fundamental stuff that we do in practice. Coach Moore has them go through drills like this just to make sure they get the ball at the highest point away from the receiver.
And again, so all of that looked very impressive. Again, 35-0. They actually averaged, I think, less than a yard per carry on the ground. Mm-hmm. So they didn't have much available in the running game. So what they were trying to do is pass, and you made them pay with pass rush and good coverage. So really, the defensive side, and your offense gets a whole lot of love because of the numbers they put up.
Offense is supposed to get the exposure.
They get the press, right? Yeah. But the defense, again, has been solid.
The best notification for any defense is when you look at what your offense scored and you look at what the opponent scored, and it's under there or it's at 0.
Yeah,
that's where your exposure comes
when the season started, I mean, there were questions about.
It was questions
about that.
That was the main concern of mine going into this season. I did not want to have a defense that was giving up a whole bunch of points and putting a lot of pressure on our offense to score a lot of points. Yeah, we want them to score points, but we also want to keep points off the board. So by moving a couple of people that was on the offensive side of the ball to play the defensive side of the ball, those changes right there is what really made this defense a lot better.
Starling was one of those guys you moved over to that side of the football.
No, Mobley.
Right? Mobley. Okay.
Mobley. Mobley had been a offensive tackle since his sophomore year on varsity. So now you take him from that and you move him to the tackle spot on the defensive side.
Okay.
Now you have Chuck that goes both ways. Now you put in the mix also DeQuante that plays the other backer. He goes both ways. Those 3 offensive players coming to the defensive side of the ball helped us out a whole bunch.
Helped you out a lot. It gave you a lot of speed there, too.
A lot of speed and a lot of talent over there.
All right, Jacksonville took White House to overtime on Friday night. So
they did.
A new coach, a pretty good football team, a lot of tradition. And you've had a couple of, in the two other years you've been in this district with those guys, had a couple of pretty good games with them, too.
And Jacksonville has some nice athletes down there. They have the football players down there to help them win. By them bringing in a successful coach out of Tabor with the knowledge that he has of the game, coming from Chapel Hill where they're used to winning. He brings that mentality to the table. Along with that knowledge, he transforms the kids' state of mind to where now they know that they can win instead of playing to try to win.
Right.
And that's where it all comes from. And he's doing a great job with those kids right now.
Now, I know Chapel Hill had, they like to run. They had a pretty balanced offense. What does Jacksonville do?
Same thing. Same thing. They're going to balance it out. They're going to try to, establish the run game, kind of like us. Yeah. But they're going to want to throw the ball. They're going to want to throw the ball. They have a young quarterback, another McCowan coming through there.
Yeah.
And, he's pretty good at throwing the ball. He's young, but he understands the offense. And then they have some big play receivers out of Menifee. And he's coming back for his senior year campaign, and he hasn't lost a step.
So. Just talking to the guys, they've been here before to this point. So, and again, I attended the end of your practice on Monday, and they seem to be pretty focused right now on, because they know that they see that prize out there that Alan Wilson, your former head coach, used to talk about, that gold ball, as he called it.
The gold ball.
Yeah, and the district championship.
This is one of our 7 gold balls that we need to win. Yeah. And that district ball is right there for us to grab. All we got to do is continue to work hard, come to practice every day, and win on Friday.
And it's too early to even think about the playoffs, but again, clinching a spot is just one of the steps. But the district championship's a big deal for John Tyler.
It's a big deal for us. I think we've won the district championship with the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah. And we're just trying to add on to that success that has already been started, and to continue that path that we have already set for ourselves, and make sure that we do the little things to take care of that.
A lot of new coaches on your staff this year. Do you think you feel like as a group, you talk about teams having to mesh offensively, defensively, just talk about your coaching staff and the work that they've had to do in the last few weeks.
And that has been going well, by sustaining your coordinators, which was, Coach Bush, Coach Anderson, and Coach Moore, which is my 3 coordinators. By sustaining those 3 right there on the staff with the knowledge that they already have of what I want to do already, because we already work together, you bring in the guys that I was able to bring in early in the summer before the kids get there to work together, that helped out tremendously, because once we started rolling, it was a couple of things that they had to learn as we went through the process, but they've done a great job. Coach Smith with the line, Coach Jones with the running backs, Coach Grant with the wide receivers, Coach Isaac with the defensive line, Coach Elder with the defensive ends. Those guys right there, they've been doing a tremendous job right now.
All right, good luck this Friday.
I appreciate it.
Again, it'll be great for John Tyler to be back home. JT will be at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium against the Jacksonville Indians on Friday night. It's a 7:30 kickoff, and the Lions will deserve and need your support as they come home looking to go 3-0 in district play. For Coach Holmes and the Lions, I'm Bill Coates. Thanks for joining us.